Welcome back to Our Whites Walk. This is a review of Leeds versus Sheffield United. And of course, we're asking the big question this week, are Tanaka and Rothwell even better than Gruev and Ampadu? And to answer that question, we've got our Leeds fan. And to give the Sheffield United view of that game, we've also got our Blades. Welcome to the quickest and most comprehensive review of all things Leeds on the internet. First of all, welcome Lee to Our Whites Walk. How are you, Lee?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to have you. And thank you so much to Lucas for giving up his evening and coming to talk to us about that game. How are you, Lucas?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you so much.
Good
right,
answer.
let's talk about the game as a neutral watching that game. I thoroughly, first of all, enjoyed it. And Lucas, I suppose we should start, I hope, by talking about just how good the tribute was from Leeds to, of course, George Baldock.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was nice to see because obviously it's a derby, innit? So you didn't know if it was going to be a bit, but things like that are just more than football. So that was good. I think it was meant to be like a minute silence, but I think they just did like an applaud instead. And United fans were cheering, which is just better, innit? I think it's just a bit more.
Yeah,
it was
a derby. There was so much on the line as well, wasn't there? And it was a great way to start off the game. And actually, I thought Ellen Road sounded the best I've heard it, Lee, for quite some time. I know it helps when you win, but people have said it's been a bit quiet at times, 3 o'clock on Saturdays. But was this was the best it's been all season, has it?
Yeah, it does get a boost with like Lucas said, Friday night under the lights, a derby, all that sort of stuff. But it has been a little bit quiet. But yeah, hopefully, as the pressure starts to ramp up and the games get even more important, then hopefully it can continue to be like the last time it was like anywhere near that was obviously Leicester last year, which obviously was a little bit later in the season, and obviously another massive win for Leeds in that game. So yeah, as the season goes on, I think it'll get better and better. But yeah, like you say, for the games that Leeds are maybe expected to win, it has been a bit quiet, to be honest.
Lucas, I'm going to put up a tweet on the screen which summed up kind of what Blades fans thought of Wilder's selection. George says, "This is all on Wilder's door, that he changed a winning team trying to be clever. Never rated Norrington Davis. Shackleton's a squad player and shouldn't be near a starting lineup for a game like that. And his subs, Campbell instead of Brewster." Leeds are a good side, aren't they, Lucas? So you can't hammer Wilder too much for this. But
no, that's the best team we've played by far. So
do you put the blame at his door for his team selection?
I don't think he should have changed it. I agree, because obviously defence hadn't conceded in like 6 games and we've been solid. But Norrington Davies, I feel like he does a good job, but I feel like we're limited when we play him. I feel like we should have just left the back four the same. And like Rakshaki, I don't think he should have dropped him because we had no wingers. It was just a bit. We sort of set up like we knew it was going to be a tougher game, but we sort of set up for a point. It seemed like, and then just got rolled over. We couldn't get near him. But like, even saying that with tactics, just every player were off it. Like everyone's touch were bad. So no matter what tactics we went in with, if we played like that, then it's always going to be the same result.
Do you think, Lee, that we've seen the top 2 play each other in this fixture?
I'm not sure about the top 2, and that's no disrespect to Sheffield United. The problem I have with answering a question like that is, and this isn't meant to sound arrogant, but I feel like Leeds are so far ahead of all the other better teams. Like, we've played a lot of the best teams now. Sunderland a couple of weeks ago, Sheffield United on Friday, Burnley, which we did lose, but down to a mistake. And no one's really come near us, which is, I think we've seen the best team in the division, but whether Sheffield United is the second best, I'm not sure. But like I say, it's early in the season yet, so like I say, not meant to sound arrogant or disrespectful to Sheffield United, but I'm unsure who's the challenger, to be honest.
Okay. The tweet of the week definitely goes to Lee, who said 70% of the earth is covered by water. The rest was covered by Tanaka. And, of course, him and Rothwell, Lee, got most of the headphones, and rightfully so. They were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
What I am interested in is your view as to whether they are a better pairing than Ampadu and Gruev.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because it's 2 pairings that are completely different. Ampadu and Gruev definitely stronger in the defensive side of the game, but as we saw from Friday night, Tanaka and Rothwell were so progressive. They were able to take the ball on the turn and progress it through the lines really, really well. And As Lucas says, a few players in the Sheffield United midfield, but off. I thought O'Hare and Gus Hamer were not great at all, and allowed Tanaka and Rothwell to run rings around them, and they are top players for the Championship. So it's going to be horses for courses, I think, when the other two come back from their injuries. But it's nice to know that that's the level that this pairing can reach, and probably is the best midfield pairing that we've had, in terms of performance on one night that we've had this season. So yeah, the ceiling's definitely there for this pairing, and hopefully it long continue now that we've played a lot of the better teams, and we can start to break down some low blocks, which has been our issue.
Yeah, it certainly was against Burnley, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have a look at this data then. So this is from Ed Morris. Thank you to @DataWithEd for this, who does loads of data analysis for Sheffield United. But this is a pass network graph showing the connections between different players, or the passes between different players. So the thickness of the line indicates the stronger the effectiveness of the pass. And I think what you can see here, Lee, in particular, is the impact of Tanaka in that midfield and Rothwell. Just look at the number of the thickness of the lines between 5, 6, 20, 22 there, and then you can see, of course, can't you, the midfield network. Compare that, Lucas, to your non-existent kind of midfield passes. I mean, look at the position of the average. These are the average positions, and obviously passes of where. Look at the position of Kiefer Moore there. Can you understand, when you look at a graph like this, perhaps why Leeds just took you apart in that middle area?
I think a lot of times there's just nothing on. So with not having wingers, Kiefer Moore had to try and make runs in behind and stuff, but we dragged him out, and then he got marshalled out wide quite a lot throughout the game. I just don't think he was working much. But a lot of people have been saying they're not really been liking Kiefer Moore. They should probably drop him, but I like him. I just think if he's had a few chances, if he'd have scored 3 goals, then it'd have been a different scenario. But
what about Callum O'Hare as well, Lucas? Because I've watched him in a few games this season, and I just don't get what he's there for.
Neither do I, to be honest. But thing is, obviously everyone knows that he's a talented player, but he's not done anything. He's really not kicked on like we thought he would. He runs a lot, but obviously that's not standard in semi-pro football, never mind professional. But he's just, I don't know, he's just not hit the ground running. But I thought he'd have dropped him by now, because against Luton he played Brewster, and that seemed to work a lot more. Brewster's looking sharp and that, but I was surprised he changed it up against Leeds, especially, to be fair.
Yeah. Lee, I wanted to ask you about this one as well. So this is a tweet saying, I don't want to hear any managers complain about games. Tanaka played 90 minutes in Japan, 6,000 miles away on a Tuesday night, flew back on a 15-hour flight on Wednesday, trained on Thursday, and got man of the match on Friday. Enough whinging. Another one about Joe Rothwell said that was his best performance in a Leeds shirt I've seen this season. He's actually taken his opportunity really, really well. Just talk to me a bit about Rothwell and what he gives this Leeds side, because he's taken his time to win over the Leeds faithful's hearts, hasn't he? But he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he is. He's a good footballer. He's a nice footballer, progressive passer. And I think what he showed on Friday is that he's willing to work for the shirt as well. Him and Tanaka, not known for their defensive prowess. Farkas talked about them as being really offensive, 10s almost, or high up 8s. And they're having to be disciplined, but their use of the ball was excellent. I thought, they just controlled the game. And Rothwell has taken a bit of time. He didn't play a lot last year. Obviously, was on loan at Southampton at the end of the season. But I think the way he can use the ball, Daniel Farkas called them, the 2 best passing midfielders in the division. And I think that really was on show on Friday night. And like I say, passing through the lines and getting our attacking players on the turn in that central area, as that graph showed, was where we hurt Sheffield United, because Sheffield United left a lot of work for Vinny Souza to do. And I thought he played quite well. I don't know if Lucas will agree with me, but he was just on his own in that midfield zone and just allowed us to take him apart, to be honest.
What about your goalkeeper, Lucas? Cooper's been heralded a lot for the saves and clean sheets as well that he's made. Do you think he's going to be the difference between you getting at least playoffs promotion this season to have a solid goalkeeper? Because last year, Premier League, and even arguably before that, you were on shaky ground in that area.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that's probably one of the best deals at that transfer window, because that's an absolute steal. He's unreal. He's just really good. He's composed, and all that's different. Just like you don't have to worry. Like since Dino Anderson went with him in that is giving similar vibes to him, to be fair. But yeah, it's making a massive difference.
I saw one tweet that said if you took Hamer and Cooper out of Sheffield United, put them into Leeds, you've actually got one of the best ever Championship sides, and potentially. Would you swap your current goalkeeper, Lee, for
it's a very loaded question after the week, isn't it?
Yeah, after some game.
To be honest, Cooper's been really, really good for Sheffield United, but Mellier's played almost 200 games for Leeds. There's some really, really high quality. Lucas might remember a game in the Premier League where Mellier made an unbelievable save, and he does have that in his locker. He's got really, really highs, but as we saw in Sunderland, it's really, really lows as well at times. But yeah, I'll stick with Mellier in this occasion for the consistency that he's shown over the long period.
Okay, Watford at home then, and Bristol City away. Don't pose any problems for Leeds as they're playing at the moment. Should they?
You can't be complacent, can you? But as I said before, I do think we're able to just control games, and we've got the quality, and especially in forward areas, but also at the back as well. I think we've got a great squad. We're bringing players like Solomon off the bench. We're bringing Dan James now off the bench as well, and you just can't cope with that. A lot of teams in the Championship level, so shouldn't do. But like I said before, if Watford come to set with a low block, it might be difficult. But it's one thing we've got to learn to deal with. Unfortunately, it's not every team is going to be kamikaze and kind of try and play us at football. It's not going to end well for a lot of teams.
Middlesbrough and Stoke for you, Lucas. How do you see them going?
I think we'll get the 3 points against Stoke. I'm just not sure against Middlesbrough because Vinicius is out for that game as well. So
yeah,
don't know. It's not going to be a nice place to go to, but I feel like if we got a point against Leeds, I feel like that's what we really needed. And then it'd been a bit more settled against Middlesbrough, but now I feel like we need to go and beat them. So.
Okay. One last one for you, Lee. There was a photograph taken at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this week, which has caught the eye of Leeds fans. You probably have seen it yourself. Old School says, this is sad to see. So much talent warming benches, Somerville and Gray. There seems to be a bit of sympathy for Gray. For Somerville, not so much. Leeds fans saying to the effect of, well, you got what you deserve, and the word rat being used in a couple of times. Explain that one to us neutrals. Why have we got Leeds fans laughing at Somerville's downfall?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because for the season, the one season that he had starting, obviously he was Championship Player of the Year, scored a lot of goals, got us out of a lot of holes, and won us a lot of points. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I mean, he deserved his Premier League move, and it was only our fault that we didn't go up, and if we weren't up, he'd be still playing for us. So, and I guess he's part of that, though. I guess you've got to kind of attribute some portion of the blame towards him. But the club needed to make some money to be able to fund their summer, and that's in final, P&S and all that sort of stuff. So it's a difficult one. I don't hold any grudges for him. I hope he breaks through the season and has a good season at West Ham. Obviously, it's different for Gray because he's an academy player. And everyone kind of wishes him well, whereas Somerville, maybe his attitude at times has maybe seemed a bit mercenary-like, which has maybe been attributed to him a little bit unfairly as well in the past. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's down to that really. He's homegrown talent versus player who's maybe had one season of top form, to his credit.
Yeah, I mean, there are a group of Leeds fans who blame him for not going up because he switched off in those latter games at QPR and Blackburn and those games that really cost you points towards the end, and saying, well, you could have been playing with us in the Premier League and you'd have put a shift in. Do you subscribe to that or not?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, it's a team game, isn't it? At the end of the day, one of the downfalls of us was that we put too much emphasis on the individual talent of like Jorginho, Rutter and Somerville, who did get us out of a lot of holes, contribute a lot of goals and assists. But at the end of the day, I think the reason we didn't go up last season was because of Leicester and Ipswich and, their ridiculous form and how they've managed to keep it up. Most seasons would go up with 90 points. And, if we can get anywhere near that this season, I think we'll win the league, to be honest with you. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate, one of those things. But, yeah, I think we're in good stead, with the money that we spent because of that transfer.
Okay. All right, brilliant. Thank you very much, both of you then. One last question for both of you. It's Halloween, of course, coming up, so we're asking all our teams this week, who's the nastiest and most scary player to ever put on a shirt for your club? Who's the one player that you were glad in the stands was playing for you and not the opposition? Lucas, can you think of a blade that you think, just get
I'm
his
just
foot
I'm,
in a
I'm
bit
thinking
longer?
with someone currently because I love it. City
Okay.
Peck. He's
Oh,
the
yeah.
worst human being alive, and I love it. I'd hate to play against him.
Yeah, he needs to start a few more games, doesn't he? Yeah, he's been,
Yeah,
comes with
he's a good lad.
Comes with an attitude, doesn't he? All right then. Now, okay, let's be fair here. There's been quite a few down the years. You could fill a whole team with these, but who's the one that stands out for you, Lee?
So for people of my generation, I'm going to go back a few years. I'm going to say David Batty. Obviously had 2 spells with the club. With his videos out there now of him dumping, former City manager Roberto Mancini over an advertising hoarding in a pre-season friendly, which you don't get to see a lot of the time. And then one from his second spell where he's roughing up Cristiano Ronaldo in the game against Manchester United. So, and that was pretty commonplace for David Batty. But he could also play as well, which was great. I enjoyed his second spell in particular when I was in my teenage years.
Brilliant, yeah. I remember Alan Smith watching him play.
Yeah.
He was one that left a foot in on a few defenders. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, both of you. Thank you very much all for watching. We'll catch, of course, you next week when we'll be chatting about the Watford game and game week 13 as well as we approach another international break. Before we let you go, just finally, either you bothered that the England manager is German? Does that bother you, Lucas?
No, not when we lift intro. I couldn't care less.
Lee?
No, it doesn't matter one jot. No, not at all.
Okay, good. Drop us the comments below as to what you think the nastiest player of the shirt is and are you bothered. The nationality of the England manager. Thank you so much, both of you. We'll see you next week.